Bharat Bond ETF by Edelweiss Mutual Fund. You can now invest in AAA rated public sector bonds with just 1,000 rupees.
Namaste, Sat Shri Akal and Adab. Welcome to Bond with Mr. Bond for Edelweiss Bharat Bond Fund. This is a one-stop shop investment solutions for all needs of an investor. First and foremost, let me explain to you what is Edelweiss Bharat Bond Fund. As you know, there are two asset classes, equity and debt. This is a debt as an asset class. Edelweiss Bharat Bond Fund will invest in AAA rated public sector undertaking bonds. Investors will have two choices, 3-year option as well as 10-year option. Also, investors will have a choice of investing through exchange traded fund directly from the exchange if you have a demat account. If not, under the fund of fund structure directly from Edelweiss Mutual Fund. Today we have Gauri Khanna in the studios, who is a successful homemaker. Let's see what her query is today. Welcome, Gauri.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. I have a question for you. So far, we've been investing in short-term debt schemes.
Correct.
So how do we
treat Edelweiss Bharat Bond, which is a 10-year product?
Which is a 10-year product?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the mindset of the investors have been very short-term when it comes to debt. They've never thought that debt can be a long-term solution. So far, there were hardly any solutions available in the mutual fund space. Edelweiss Bharat Bond Fund is one of its kind, which has provided a 10-year solution to the investors. Unfortunately, investors do not realize that there is something what we call reinvestment risk in the debt space. Over the last 22 years, interest rates have softened by more than 50%. That means, let's assume that you had invested in a fixed deposit, if it was available at that time, at 15% per annum. Currently, interest rates are at 7.5% as we know. So can you imagine if you had logged in a 15% FD at that time, 22 years back, you would have had to do nothing. So that reinvestment risk is a major risk which investors do not understand, and they generally tend to invest over shorter periods of time, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, etc. So now the investor need to think long term when it comes to investing in debt also, to avoid that reinvestment risk.
Oh, wow. I would love to invest for 10 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now your mindset will be changed when you approach it in a different light altogether.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Great. Thank you so much. This is your host and host, Mr. Bond, signing off from Bond with Mr. Bond on Edelweiss Bharat Bond. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.